Everybody, we gonna put on the show. Nigga, I ain't done yet, I gotta put on some more. Nigga, how you gonna breathe with a foot on your throat? Ask about Benz, got the hood on choke. I don't see shit funny, I'm good on you, joke. Heard it was up, my hood on go. Nigga, how you gonna breathe with a foot on your throat? Yeah, pop out for perk and I get out my body. I'm tryna sleep at the car with my gun, and little motherfucker fit in my pocket. We fired up the blunt and got kicked out the party. Put it out, that shit ain't exotic. The shit talking, that shit make me hotter. Turn me up, make me get out my body. Turn me up, make me get out my body. Go.
The primary purpose of the CAF podcast is to express platform for creatives to express their personal views or opinions without restriction or censorship. All views or opinions expressed during the CAF podcast are solely those of individuals expressing such views or opinions and does not reflect the views of the CAF podcast.
Let me just do it like this. So, season 8 CAF podcast, man, we back. Still got our truth is dare going on, and like I always say, we're always gonna try to bring you some good guests, some good context. And the young lady we got on today, let me just say this. God got a hand on this podcast because out of nowhere you just meet amazing people, and it's just crazy how like we're coming on our 4-year anniversary, and the followers and the people that we meeting and the people who want to get on the podcast is like, to me, it's just unbelievable. Because I think if I never would have started this podcast, I never would have met the person we got on today. Now, her title is First Lady, and we're gonna keep it that. So hold on, let me change this because we don't need everybody knowing your business. So they want to find out about you. They just gonna have to DM you and get all the information.
That's so funny.
We're not gonna give nobody no help today, so we're gonna go put that as First Lady. Now she said, and I quote, "I'm not that interesting." And I'm like, everybody is interesting. And tonight we're going to prove it, because I guarantee you, if you're watching this and if you're listening to this, I guarantee you're going to find something that's going to be helpful to you, because I don't know her journey and I don't know her struggle, but I guarantee you, and I don't know her age, but we're going to say she's 21.
Okay.
She been on this earth and she done been through some shit. So we want to welcome to the CAF, the one and only Miss First Lady.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome to the CAF.
Thank you.
Now, I'm just going to let you know right now, whatever anxiety, nervousness, just know in 20 minutes, you're going to forget all about it.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, cool.
Now, the first question that we asked Miss First Lady in the CAF, we stole this from Charlemagne the God, but how is your mental health?
Oh, a hot mess, but that's okay. That's okay. Like, I'm in a season right now where I am unmasking. Like, and that's okay. I think, like, so I'm 34, and I'll just say that. And I think that it's important for us, especially as Black women, to realize like we don't have to mask all the time and like pretend to be tough when we like just need to fall apart. So I'm in a season where I am completely unmasking, and some things are just a hot mess, but it's okay.
I wasn't expecting that. I think you're I'm gonna just be real. Ever since we asked that question, I think you're the first person who ever just said, I'm a hot mess. Nobody.
Yeah.
If I had to ask them to rate themselves, the lowest number I ever got was probably a 6.
Oh, yeah, nah. I'm in a season of unmasking. So like that means being transparent and being honest with people. And I'm okay with that.
See, okay,
Yeah.
okay, and I'm not interesting.
I'm not. I'm pretty boring.
Pretty boring, but you just told the world I'm a hot mess, and you
I am, and that's okay.
Hey, okay, we're gonna keep this moving. Now, the second question that we asked, because as I went through your profile, don't know your relationship status, don't know if it's a man in your life or whatever. During the pandemic, and we started in 2021, and when people couldn't go outside, and I got back on Twitter because I left Twitter, but I saw a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff I like, a lot of X-rated stuff. But one of the stuff I saw a lot. I didn't see white. I didn't see Mexican, Russian, Asian, whatever. I saw a lot of Black women getting attacked. And it was one lady, if it wasn't for her dog, that guy would have got her going into her apartment. So I used to ask one question, but now I had to switch it up because we've been reaching out to different people in different states. So Do you got something to protect yourself, and are you licensed?
No, I'm not. But do I have something to protect myself? Absolutely. So,
Okay.
again, full transparency, and I am completely unmasking in this season. And so what that means is like just being transparent and not trying to fake the funk. And I'm okay with that too. So for me, like I'm a survivor of domestic violence. So
Come
in
on.
my car, I have protection. Places in my house have protection. So I work in the field of domestic violence. I've worked in the field of human trafficking and sexual violence. And I've also worked closely with homeless veterans. Like I used to go out into the camps, up under the bridges, in the woods, and find homeless veterans with mental health issues. So like I've done all that stuff and I get it. And am I licensed? No. But do I have what I need to protect myself? Yeah,
Okay. You in Florida?
I am in Duval County.
904?
Yeah.
Oh, so, okay. Dang, I did not know. I did not know that.
I
Okay. All
know. I
right.
saw one of your other videos where you were talking about how it was hard to get people from Duval, and I was like, "Oh, I got you. Like, who else you need? I got you."
Oh, don't worry. Oh, don't worry. But you're in Florida, so technically you don't really need a license. But
Yeah.
I always I want people to have it, because just in case they're like, well, this person ain't licensed, but in the state we really don't need it.
As a Black person, get it. Yeah, get it. It doesn't matter. I don't care what the law is. Like, do what you need to do. Go the extra mile to protect yourself. No, you shouldn't have to, but go the extra mile to make sure that you are covered on every single front and also that you're knowledgeable. That way, when someone does approach you and try you, no matter who they are, no matter if they are a part of the system or some dude off the street, who's chasing you down, like we had in Brunswick.
Or the
You can,
I can't think of the thing.
Ahmaud Arbery.
No,
And
no, no, not Ahmaud Barbie. The lady in Jacksonville who husband was, beating and raping, and she shot,
yeah,
she shot warning shots and
he's
ended up
not
going to
one.
jail.
And so even with that, like the system doesn't play fair at all. And so that's why when it comes down to it, like we got to work the system for us. And then if that doesn't work, we make sure that we cover it on all fronts. So do what we got to do to protect ourselves.
And she said she wasn't interested, that she is boring. That's gonna be the title of this video.
Good.
I am not interested.
There you go.
And oh my God. Okay. All right. Now let me get to the truth or dare part. Let me tell you how it works. So usually when truth or dare happen, if you don't want to do the truth, most people what? Take a shot. You don't want to
Okay.
do the dare, most people what? Take a shot. Well, since this is virtual, I wish I would known you in Jacksonville. I would have took you to the studio. Dang, I wish I would have known this, but it's all good.
Yeah, we'll redo it one day.
We gonna no, we definitely gonna do it because I guarantee you. I'm just telling you right now, it's gonna be a part two because what you just said and the questions that I got, I'm not even gonna ask because the topic everything you just said is stuff that I really want to get more detail into. And the fact that you even working in that field and a survivor, I know it's gonna be a part two.
Yeah.
Now, let me go back to the truth of dare. Since I don't know what's in your cup, if you was to have it, I'm not even gonna do that. So what we asking is, if you don't want to do the truth, you don't want to dare, just give us $2 to our cash app.
I got you. That's crazy. How many questions we doing? Like you could do like 100 questions.
No. We're not gonna do it. I don't want to be that type of. So let me just tell you the reason why we're doing it because one of my good friends, she's a coach in Shreveport, Louisiana. She's a track coach,
Yeah.
and they literally cut her budget.
Aww.
So I said she did something for us that like I told her, whatever you need, I got you. And this
Absolutely.
season with Truth or Dare, I said I'm gonna raise money. Now we might not be able to like do a lot, but we could get the kids food
I
when
love
they
it.
after a track meet and food going to a track meet. So that's my goal. So
Yeah.
that's the reason why I'm doing it.
I love that so much. I love it. I'm
So
down. Let's do it.
I'm not gonna do a whole bunch of truth there because I don't want to be like that. But I am gonna sprinkle it in because I still want us to have stuff to talk about. And
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm just gonna get straight to the point.
Yeah. And we'll make a donation anyways. So anyone watching, just commit, go ahead and decide in this moment that you're gonna donate to. By the end of this podcast, you're gonna donate.
Speak it into existence. But no. Let me do the truth of the day. Let me get things popping first. Then we'll go to that. Let me not mess it up because you got me excited. I'm not even gonna lie. Man, I gotta get to it. So let me go to the truth of the day. So which one you want to do first? Dare or truth?
Of course, the truth.
Truth. All right. What is the biggest fear you have about raising your kid in a social media era?
That he'll end up being somebody that I don't know, or that things will happen. So I have one kid. He's like in that age now where like he's figuring it out, and
Yeah, that's a
he
big
has his
boy.
little page or whatnot. But I can see everything. Like it's on my phone.
Gotcha.
Every notification, I get it on my account, just like
There you
he,
go.
so, and I'll grab the phone in a heartbeat. Um, and the only reason he has it because he plays football, and all his little teammates, they use it for gaming and stuff. But social media is ugly. My kid is a pretty decent kid. He's, he don't get in trouble. He's afraid to get in trouble. But there are things that kids do online that we think we know when we don't. My kid is the sweetest, most like shy kid ever. But then I saw a notification where it was a post that said, if crime was not illegal for one day, like if all crime was legal for one day, what would you do? And he said, I would steal my crush's heart. So like that was cute.
Little player. Like, come on
9.
now. I would never say that. I would have said
You
I
feel
would go
me?
into a bank.
Look, you feel me? So like again, like I'll be like, hey, you cussing? He'll be like, well, I did say shut up. That kind of thing. Like my kid, he a good kid, but I also wouldn't expect him to like try to be a player, try to be smooth. So that kind of
That
stuff.
was real,
It
man.
was at age of 9. You know what I'm
Not,
saying? Like I screenshot it, saved. I was like, okay, let me
man,
save
I
this.
would have said I would have.
At 5, right?
If I was 9, if you would have
Yeah.
asked me that question, hey, I'm going to Toys R Us,
You
taking
feel me?
everything.
Yeah. So
I know I'm Asian myself by saying Toys R Us, but
it's
that
all
was
right.
my
Come say Toys
mindset.
R Us too. I miss them. Come back. But at least I saved some dollars, I guess. But yeah, like, but yeah, that kind of thing where I wouldn't expect it. But he out there being smooth, and he liked the ladies already. So I gotta be mindful and just be careful on that too.
All right, now let me just go ahead and get it out of the way, so let me get $2 in the system. So we're gonna do a dare, and the dare is real simple. Take your top off.
Boom, $2. Just that quick.
Just that quick. All right, now let's get to it. Now you say you was a domestic violence survivor.
Yes.
I don't know what if you don't, I don't know what's the details you can go into, if you can go to,
Yeah.
but how, being a survivor, how has that changed your mindset moving forward in your life?
Yeah, so mine was like more recent than not, and folks would be surprised that it even occurred during that time because I was still, trying to be my best self. I work within the field of domestic violence. I work for the state, so I literally do economic justice policy for the state. Like we promote laws and everything for survivors of domestic violence and how they intersect throughout different systems throughout the state, from the courts to law enforcement to receiving services, any of it. We touch every single aspect. So I work in that field, but I was also experiencing it, but not realizing that it was happening until it was like towards the end, it was really big and it blew up. My son and I, we lost everything. We did the thing that you're supposed to do, right? Like you have JS, or our law enforcement here in Jacksonville is JSO. So even though you know that, I know people may not know that. So JSO, law enforcement, you do all the things you're supposed to do, but the system still doesn't always work in your favor. And so my son and I, we were homeless technically. It was Florida, Georgia weekend. And here in Jacksonville, Florida, Georgia weekend is packed. Like there is not a hotel available because all the Florida, Georgia fans come here.
Yeah.
And this was 2 years ago, about 2.5. Yeah, it was in October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. But this happened back in 2022, October of 22. And so we lived in a hotel for several months. I prayed and I asked God to, hey, I really want to be in a place by my son's birthday. My lease literally has his date of birth on it, the day that I signed it. So I'm grateful. I'm really, really grateful. We're good now, but it's a hard thing. Like you don't just get over it. Even in like trying to develop new relationships with guys and whatnot, like it's not easy. So it's something that I have to really, really kind of overcome. But with that, realizing, some people are like, hey, take time for yourself. Don't jump into anything if you're not really ready. Hurt people. Don't bleed on nobody else, that kind of thing. So I'm just taking that time right now to make sure that I'm good before I jump into anything else. Because The last thing I want to do is hurt a good guy who comes into my life.
Mm. And so, golly, when you throw in Georgia, Florida, talking about trying to find, man, you would have better off.
Yeah, I didn't.
Like,
When I tell you the officers that gave my ID that day back to the guy. And then when I called them, I said, hey, do y'all have my driver's license? Because you can't get a hotel without a license or without an ID. And you also can't get a hotel without a debit card or a bank card or a credit card.
yeah.
He had all of my stuff. They gave him my driver's license and they were like, oh, he'll give it to you. I gave it to him. He was like, oh, I don't know what happened to it. Like, of course, so here I am, Florida, Georgia weekend. I think it was that Thursday that it occurred. And that Thursday, there were no hotels, no nothing. So I was at a Motel 6 on Phillips Highway.
Oh, dang.
You already know how that was. That was a rough night.
Oh, damn.
The first night we slept in our car in the driveway. And the next night we were in a Motel 6 because there was nothing here in town. Not many places take cash, you know what I'm saying? So, and the ones that do aren't good.
No.
But I'm grateful, like where I am right now, like, I'm
So
happy.
for somebody, so going back, because when did you? Because I'm assuming that whoever the person you was with, I'm assuming a pattern or a trend started happening where it was like, or was it just a one-time thing? Like,
so typically within the domestic violence relationships, they typically kind of like if you put like crabs in a pot, you don't typically put them in when it's boiling.
You're really showing you so Duval. You're showing your Duval side.
I knew that you would get it.
Yeah, you're showing your Duval side. But go ahead.
Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? It's okay.
Go ahead.
But just like you can't really put the crabs into the hot boiling water, you put them in and you turn it up and it slowly cranks up till they realize that, oh no, you know what I'm saying? And by the time they realize, they dead or they can't move or they're paralyzed. And that's similar to domestic violence, right? Like within a context of a relationship, if they pop out of a white van and they trying to pull you in and say, hey, come love me and move in with me, you're going to be like, nah, I'm good. You probably going to, take them out on sight. But if they come in and they are the most amazing, beautiful individual you've ever met and everything is good, then it changes things. Kind of like if you were in an amazing relationship, then all of a sudden you break up, you don't stop loving that person. It hurts. You grieve, the loss of it for a little bit or a long time. Maybe you need counseling. Maybe you need friends, support, waiting to exhale moments. But it was one of those things where we were together for about 8 years. And we even got engaged at the end. We were on and off for a little while. And then once we took it a step further and I moved in with him officially, things changed. And so once things changed, it became more volatile. And I wasn't in a place where I was like going to leave. Like, yes, I might have been looking on Zillow, but was I really going to move? Probably not. I wanted to keep our family together, right? Like I was like, okay, we can make it work. And then plus right now,
let me cut it because I hear that so much with women who are in terrible situations. And I always ask this question and they always answer, but I always have to have like, if you're not putting yourself first, are you really beneficial to anybody?
Not at all.
Because you said like you was trying to keep your family together, but you're slowly losing piece by piece.
Yeah.
Like I can't say that because I'm not a woman. I don't have the heart in the way women love, especially Black women. But I just know
to men too, which is really, disheartening. Like I think I've had more men in the past few years come to me and tell me that they were also survivors of domestic violence than I have ever. When I was working in the field, like I worked at a local shelter here in Jacksonville. And when I worked at a local domestic violence shelter here in Jacksonville, there were men who came in with their children, Black men who came in with their children, who were running away from someone, like people that we would know who were business owners here in Jacksonville would come in for services, whether it was in shelter or if it was in our outreach center, they came in for services. So it happens. And the sad thing is that no one is, we have to make, I won't say no one, but the system itself, which also includes our community. People think the system is just like DCF, the police, the courts. The system is us too, like our own little community, right? Like if we find out that, you know, oh, Rod did something a little, whoever in them, we are all as a family going to go handle that because street justice, right? So the same thing has to happen when we come together and hold someone accountable and say, no, that's not okay. No, dog, you're not going to hit that girl in front of me again. I see my sister got a black eye. Where did that come from? Right? Like not trying to hide it. So I think that even now, with the way the economy is, if you were in this moment to go look for a place to live, would you be able to find a place tomorrow? I'm talking about maybe for some people, double deposit. For some people, we're looking at first and last month's rent. We're also looking at their criminal histories to see if they can even qualify for this place. We're seeing that their income match. So there's not a place right now for $850 for rent. There's not many
Well,
places.
let me give you a pushback.
Uh-huh.
Let's say I don't have all that, but this guy or girl is really beating on him.
Yeah.
What can I do to get away? Because I can't afford to pay first and last month. I look, my credit score like this. I only got maybe $600 in my bank account.
Absolutely.
So
And
what advice would you give anybody in a situation like they need to get away, but the funds ain't there? Like, is there something they can do?
Absolutely. So there is an organization here in Jacksonville, I'll say statewide for Florida, or even just nationally. Every single county, typically within the United States, has a domestic violence shelter. They also have a hotline that you can call or text in your area. So if there is a domestic violence center in your area, they typically have a hotline that you can call or text and say, hey, I need help. Hey, I need a place to live. Hey, I need a place to stay tonight. And they explain their story, and they typically, if they have space, they bring them in that moment. There is typically not a lot of shelters here in Florida that have space, just going to be honest. But with that does not mean don't call. That means go ahead and call and see if they do have space. If they don't, that advocate on the phone should be able to work something to get you somewhere for safety that night, and then continue to work with that person. So there are a lot of resources, and those numbers are 24/7, but imagine, having to take you and your like newborn or you and your like kids into a shelter with a whole bunch of strangers that you don't know. And during COVID, that kind of thing. So it can be really, really scary and really, really tough. I think that if it comes down to life and death, you do what you got to do regardless. If it comes down to the safety of you and your babies, you do what you got to do. For me, in my situation, it didn't get physical until the end. But even leading up to that, even without the physical part, it was too much. And I knew that, but I think I needed God to literally rip me from that situation in order for me to act right, because I don't think I would have left.
And I'm not interested. I'm boring my ass. Girl, do you realize this information that you saying is so, excuse my language, fucking powerful?
Yeah, and I'll make sure you have the numbers and stuff too, so people
please do, because I could have it. I'm gonna make sure it's scrolling at the bottom, because it's just so many, like First Lady, if and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, and I mean it with love, I could slap you for saying that you're not interested in boring. Girl, people need this shit.
Yeah, it's important.
Like, it's somebody right now, and I hope they watching this YouTube episode. Baby, if you in Florida, that's the number down there. Call that, get away. My guy, if you going through something, especially a black man with kids, I guarantee you, if you don't want to go to a shelter, it's a woman out there to take you in.
Yeah, I promise you. And one of I worked at, again, domestic violence shelter. One of the supervisors in that moment, and I'm gonna just be blunt, she said, baby, is the dick that good? She said, I promise you, it's another one out there who won't hit you. He'll give it to you good, and he'll move on, and he will not hit you. And so when it comes down to it, it's literally that serious. And we have those conversations. I don't want you to ever think that we're going to immediately call DCF and say, hey, DCF, come in and take that ain't the case. If you come in the shelter, we are there for you. Now, yes, we are mandated reporters. If something's happening to the child, we're going to make sure y'all good. We're going to take care of the child. We're going to make sure that everything happens accordingly. But we're not going to tell on you and the babies. We want to save and help you and the babies. There is relocation assistance. There are services available. There are free legal services, attorneys that will represent you for free. And I have access to all of it.
Season 8 Cal Podcast. We got Miss First Lady in here, Truth or Dare. This lady has lied in my DMs talking about I'm not interested and I'm boring, but we're gonna go more, but we're gonna go back to a Truth or Dare because we got to get back to this lady and everything she got. So Truth or Dare, I think you did true first, so let's go to a dare first, then a truth. Dare.
Okay.
So what are you on? Your computer, your laptop?
I'm on a computer.
All right, grab your phone.
Got it.
Let's go to the 7th person you called. Who is that? Say their name. I'm gonna edit this out so that
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that I called
that you called
or talked to.
Oh, let's go talk to.
4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I got it.
Who is there? I'm gonna edit this part out.
Andrew.
Andrew. All right. You're gonna call Andrew.
Okay.
And only thing you can say is, Andrew, I need $50. Andrew gonna say what you need it for. You know what you're gonna say? Andrew, I need $50. He's gonna say why you need it. You know what you're gonna say? Andrew, I need $50. The only words you can say is, Andrew, I need $50.
Dang, that's my homeboy. All right.
If you say anything else, it's off. Now,
That's
if
crazy.
Andrew just so happened to Cash App you, Apple Pay, Zelle you $50 in 45 seconds, we're going to match that and you're going to leave with $100.
Oh, he better not send it. I feel so, oh my gosh. I can't
If he send it, the Cal Podcast going to match it. So if you want to send
it. It's crazy. I'm going to do it though, because I'm a good.
But remember, only thing you can say, Andrew, I need $50. All right, let me get my timer ready because you got 45 seconds.
It's crazy.
Let me know when you're calling and I'll start the clock.
All right, I'm calling. On speaker?
Ready? Yep.
Hopefully he in like Bible study.
Oh, don't do that, Andrew. Be out of Bible study. Let me mute myself.
He'll call back too. Okay, good. They had Bible study night, so I'm hoping he in there.
Oh, don't be in there, Andrew. Come on, Andrew. Don't let us down.
Good. Okay. It's like an online virtual thing, and so they praying. Whew, that was good. Okay, next one.
Now, if Andrew called back, all the thing you can say is, Andrew.
Phone is
Only thing you can say is, Andrew, I need $50.
Okay.
All right, let's go to a truth. Okay, this will be a good one for you. Are single mothers raising their sons with privilege?
With their privilege? What you mean?
So, you know how they say like who are raising these black boys who are not taking care of these black women and all that. And they always say black women are raising them because the father's not there. So as a woman, are you raising your son with privilege or are you raising your son to be somebody else's king?
Oh, I think both. I think it's important to have a healthy balance. I think for years we were like, I'm gonna raise you to be somebody so-and-so. And it's like, we don't raise young girls to be somebody's wife. You know, like I don't want to raise my daughter. I don't have a daughter, but if I ever had a daughter, I don't want to raise her just to be a wife. I'm not a wife. And then how would that feel as a young lady? Now you feel like a failure because you're not a mom, you're not a wife, and you spend your early 20s, your late 20s, your early 30s really disappointed, upset, battling whatever, and not even focused on, you know, achieving your goals, finishing school, starting that business, you know, like living your life, because now your whole life you've been raised to be a mom, you've been raised to be a wife. I think that does a disservice, especially when in today's society, you can't just be a wife. In most cases, it's not fair, you know, especially when you haven't decided and talked about that with your husband. back to your question. But am I raising my son? I think it's a healthy balance. I raised him to be a gentleman. His dad actually instilled that in him, opening the door for the women in his life. He opens the door for Mima. He makes sure to holds the door for strangers who walk through, even if they don't say thank you, and it tears me up. He says yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And he likes the young ladies and he's respectful about it. So I think that it's a combination of both. He does have that privilege as well because we go to Target, at least once a week. And he gonna get that PS5 because he's a good kid and he makes all A's. And they give him extra work at school because he makes all A's. So I think it goes back to that balance and knowing your kid. If my kid was whatever, then I probably wouldn't raise him in that way. I probably have to be a little bit tougher. But as a mom, I think it's important to still not try to be his dad, but also be as approachable and accessible as possible. So he can come to me and say, hey, what do you think about me having a girlfriend? And I can not be like, oh my gosh, okay, here's the moment. I can still be like, okay, what's up? Tell me about her, kind of thing. Without freaking out and being, super mom. So yeah, the balance.
Okay. Now I want to go back to something because you said a lot about the domestic violence and a lot of stuff where people can go to get help, needs, everything. Mm-hmm. In that time, who was there for you when you was going through your situation?
Oh, I had a beautiful village, and I'm really grateful. So, I didn't tell anyone what I was going through. No one knew. But I did know during the pandemic.
Hold on. So I gotta ask.
Sure.
Why?
Because I think then, and it took some time, about 2 years of unlearning and some kind of just really kind of coming to myself, and working through some things. But I went to a private Christian school here in Jacksonville from the age of 3 until I graduated. When I was in high school, there were moments where we didn't have housing and it was a struggle. And I also worked every day after high school at a team up program. And I gave my check over to my mom. And she was a single mother, but my dad is amazing, but she was a single mother. And so I still put on my uniform every single day. I washed up in Walmart, one morning before school. So I was the first Black homecoming queen at this private Christian school, predominantly white. I was voted best.
I want to know what school now.
University Christian. 08. But yeah, so that was what I did. I was in advanced classes, all the stuff, but I continued to put on a brave face because that was what we did. And I think that ended up being detrimental later. Because no matter what, I put on a good face and I carried that with me throughout adulthood. And that's why I'm in this season of unmasking.
And I think that's why they say Black people, we need to go to therapy because of stuff like that. Because you're at a young age, you're working, and then you're working to help your mom, but you still got to go to school. And on top of that, you're at University Christian.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say it for people to know University Christian. It is a good school in the classes. You get, I think at the time when I remember, you get less than, I think a 2.2, they put you on some type of administrative leave or something like that.
Yeah.
So all that, and this is before you 18 graduated. This is why I think they say Black, our generation, and especially our generation, we need to go to therapy.
Absolutely. And I think we're in a space now where we're kind of that in-between generation. Our kids will probably go to therapy. We're in the space where we're we need to, kind of thing. And our parents are why? What's wrong? And so I love, my mama, but when I told her, I was yeah, I think I got ADHD. And she was oh no, what did I do? And I'm no, baby, it just means I can't focus.
Yeah.
I be all over the place. And so, but she felt guilty. She felt bad because she didn't catch it. And she felt it was something that she did that was wrong. And because she doesn't understand mental health complexities. When in reality, it's as simple as, hey, it's okay. There are things that are there to help you. Nothing you could have done, nothing you did, you didn't do anything wrong. It just happens. So I think it's a level of education, understanding for our community, and us being patient and having grace with our adults and saying, hey, it's okay to not understand. You went through some trauma, but we're not going to continue the cycle. We're going to stop it here because my kids won't experience that. And it's okay. And I think we have to give our parents grace too in that.
Yeah. Because they needed to go to therapy.
They did. I mean, if you think about it, like we had men, and I mean, all the way back, like they were the provider. You know, they didn't have time to come home and like, oh, baby, I had a hard day. No, like my grandmother had 5, 6 kids in Monticello, Florida, and everybody in the neighborhood used to come to her house to eat. You know, like the kids missed the school bus, she taking them kids to school because that's what they did as a community. He came home working 2, 3 jobs. She don't have to go to work, but she got to take care of this household and the community, right? So like there was that like check and balances, which was beautiful, but he also didn't have time to come home and vent and have a mental health day. Neither did she, because you pushed through it. So if he did some drinking, it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like if she had to, you know what I'm saying, like take him being angry or take him being out with the men for a little bit so she can get some stuff done, and it was what it was. And so I think now we're not doing that anymore. We're having the conversations and we're realizing, hey, baby, like you don't have to work. I'm going to go to work too. Like we're going to do this together because we're a team. It's hard out here. Rent $2,500. I expect my man who making $65,000 a year, $7,000 a year to pay all of my, that's not fair. So I think we're in a place now where we have to understand and do some unlearning, and realize that times are changing and it's okay. We just got to make sure we're communicating too.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could just show you the DM that this lady sent.
Cut it out.
I am uninteresting and I am boring. And this lady is literally saving somebody that she don't know, that I don't know, that's going to watch this and be like, yo, if she can make it, I can make it. Oh, Miss First Lady. I told you, look, if you, I don't know you've been paying attention, but we literally 30 minutes in. And you just talking like, oh my, like,
I can talk a lot. That's all it is. I just be talking a lot. That's it.
Yeah, but what you saying though, everybody can talk.
Yeah.
But it's what's coming out your mouth is what's more important.
You know what? I want to come on when y'all be doing like the 4 and 5 people panel sessions. Like it be all the squares on here, and y'all be having those real good conversations. I want to come on for one of those.
Don't worry, because I guarantee you, what I try to do, especially with new guests, with people, especially who never, because I don't know if this is your first podcast or not.
Absolutely.
I try to be the barrier and try to like show them like it's really not all that hard. Like some people, they'll get on here and they'll see that red light and they just like, yeah, I did it, but it's no longer there. Okay, so I ate breakfast this morning. And I can't get them to, and I want them to be free, open up. Because we like this truth is there. I'm trying to raise money. So I don't have too many got you questions. I ain't finna have, all right, Miss First Lady, who been clapping your cheeks? I ain't finna do that.
I mean, I'll just get the money, it don't matter.
I appreciate it. But I want people to feel comfortable where they can come back.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you, I promise you, I'll get you on for the panel. Don't worry about that.
I was just joking. Y'all scary. That's a hot seat. I was
no, it's not. No,
I love y'all, and I just want to watch because y'all are terrifying. I'm like, oh, okay.
We just had the conversation.
Y'all
like listen, I promise you, you're probably having the same conversation that we have. It just ain't being recorded.
Okay, it's a good conversation. I'm gonna have to come on
because it's literally our main job is real simple. Somebody's gonna listen to what we're saying. I'm like, nah, I definitely, or like, okay, maybe it's a possibility. If I do this, maybe I can open up, or maybe I can go start that business, or maybe like if they can start a podcast, I know I can do a podcast as well.
Absolutely.
Because when I first and I'm going back to the beginning because when we first started. I would tell everybody. If I knew you, I probably told you, First Lady, you got a lot going on. You should start a podcast. I told a lot of people to start a podcast, and nobody bit. And that's when I realized the vision wasn't for them; it was for me.
Okay. Okay. That was good. I like that. Yes.
And literally, I called Quita. I say, Quita, what you doing next Tuesday? She say nothing. I say, good. I'm starting a podcast. A podcast? I don't know. I like Quita. You getting on? I called
Oh.
Perk. Perk, that's my boy. We've been kicking it since I got to. I graduated from Graham. Ever since I got to Graham, that's the only person I really knew like that. I said, bro, get on the podcast, and literally, it just been rocking and rolling. Like the people who've been gravitating to us, like it
Mhm.
just it's been amazing. And to see where we at now, to where I'm gonna show you how we started, but to see
Yeah.
how we started to end up to where we even got a logo now.
Yeah.
Like it's
I
just
see
one of them
you.
things, division. So I just wanted to say that. So, but yeah, don't ever say you're not interested and you're born again. Don't ever say that. Don't ever
I
say
mean
that.
it.
Don't ever say
Who's
that.
the
Okay.
full?
So now, working in you say you also was working in sex trafficking, and what was the other part?
Yeah, I worked in sexual violence and home and human trafficking.
Human trafficking. Okay. With everything going on, where it's what let me just start here. What is that day-to-day life like for you dealing with that, knowing that you're dealing with somebody who was taken and literally used for sex? And it's usually probably a girl or a boy, and it's usually I think the number if I remember was between the age of 13 to 19. I
Um,
could be wrong.
it's okay. I know the stats change all the time, and which is really sad. And depending on who you ask, the stats are probably going to be different. Looking at the quality of actual data. I think that's a tough thing. So not just that, but um any space where folks are working with gender-based violence programs. So whether it's sexual violence, domestic violence, human trafficking, stalking, any of that, even sexual harassment on the workplace, that kind of thing, you're going to have some intersections with some of those things, whether it be human trafficking, domestic violence, whatever. Someone who's homeless has likely experienced, and the rates are much higher, that they've experienced one of those other intersections that we just named. So someone who's being human trafficked likely has had some sort of childhood trauma, has likely had some sort of homelessness issue or barrier, may have been in the foster care system. There's likely a lot of other indicators or risk factors that kind of also help kind of curate the ideal victim for perpetrators or abusers. They
Hmm.
typically target folks in school, so they may use other children to send them into school and say, "Hey, let Tisha know that she can come to our house tonight because I know her mom and family been having issues. If she need to stay a couple nights, she can." And that's kind of where it starts. Someone who may be a part of the LGBTQ population, they are way more likely to be targeted or become victims because, especially for homeless youth or youth in that space who may identify as one of those categories or as one of those individuals, they are likely more likely to be targeted by folks because there are so many other risk factors, like their parents finding out, or them being bullied or picked on at school, or their teachers telling their parents instead of allowing them to come out by themselves. So it's a lot of different factors. Um, for the month of October during Florida, Georgia, my first weekend of actually having call outs. So a call out is basically where someone calls into the police or goes to the hospital and say, "Hey,
Oh
I
boy,
am being raped."
yeah, you as soon as when you said that, then you said Florida, Georgia, I like,
That's a bad
ooh.
weekend. So that's, I
Yes.
think, at least this was, my son is 9, so this was 9 years ago. Florida, Georgia weekend, every single weekend was the one that we had the most call outs. So we had to have basically everyone ready. So my first weekend where I just joined this organization here in Jacksonville, and they were the rape crisis center. So every single person that let the system know that they had been a victim of sexual violence, they came through us. We would
Hmm.
go to a place and we would have the exam. We would call the nurse out. We would call the hospital. We would call JSO. And they choose to see what they want to do. And we move forward. They have an exam. But during that weekend, I think we probably had about 8 to 10 call outs back to
I
back.
bet you. I know you did.
Starting that Thursday night.
I know
So we
you
start
did.
that Thursday night right before midnight, counting the days and counting that weekend. And they last from anywhere to 3 to 5 hours each call out, if not longer.
Jesus, I know that weekend.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's rough. It's really bad. All night.
yeah.
Like when I tell you every hospital, so we're talking about Baptist South, we're talking about UF Health Shands, we're talking about Baptist Downtown, we're talking about JSO. Like they are literally bringing us people who have been attacked.
Damn. So when you go meet these, I'm assuming they're women, maybe some boys,
Everybody.
everybody. Like, how do you prepare yourself to walk in there? Because you know somebody's just dealt with that. Like,
Yeah.
what mental space are you in? Not them, you. What mental space
Um,
are you in?
Yeah, so what's interesting is my core group of friends, all of us worked within the domestic violence field or sexual violence. Every single one of us. We all started together in our early 20s in this work. And so we were babies coming into this work fresh out of college. All of us are still in this work in some capacity. Some are therapists, some are social workers, and some are working in the court system. So all of us are still in this work and still in this space in some way. We were talking about how in our personal lives, how someone may come up to us and tell us something, and we are so calm. Like someone could come up and say, "Hey, I was just stabbed," and we are calm and we are meeting the crisis however we can. We
Is
don't
that training that they give y'all, or is just
it
something that's
is. And
like,
I think it's also, I mean, just imagine being in your early 20s, like you're 22 years old, and you're holding a 30-year-old or 40-year-old man's hand as he's getting an exam done because he's just been brutally assaulted in jail. We went to the jails here in town and we talked to survivors who had been raped, men and women. Uh, Folks that were assaulted by correction officers, folks that were assaulted by their pimps. And they're telling us their story, and it is human trafficking. So this person is not a prostitute. This person was not soliciting sex. This person had been trafficked for the past 5 years, and they're only 19 years old. So those kind of things is what we're hearing day in and day out.
Jesus? Season 8 Cal Podcast Truth today. We got Miss First Lady here who just told a whole bunch of fibs in our DMs, but it's all good. We're glad he got on. So it's a stat I saw, I heard. Let me take that back. I heard that every 1 out of 3 women has have had some type of incident dealing with sexual assault.
Yes. And the domestic violence rates used to be 1 in 4, and now it's 1 in 3, and we're looking at heading towards 1 in 2 since the pandemic. But it is very high. And we know that when we're looking at stats and quality data, that it's likely way worse than that. For myself, for example, I didn't understand that I was a victim of domestic violence or anything like that until it was too late, until after it was over. It wasn't too late, but after it was over. And I saw things and I was doing the training again, and I was like, all of this stuff is my stuff. Even there are men who are like, no, that didn't happen. And it did. Guess what?
I'm quiet. I'm gonna mute
What do I
myself.
say? $50?
Andrew, I need
Hi,
$50.
Andrew. How are you?
Hello, I'm well. How are you?
Good.
Miss you.
Can you send me $50?
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
cash app.
I will, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Hi.
Yeah. I'm just about to,
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on, no. We got to do it right, ladies and gentlemen. We finally got somebody some up top who said they're gonna send $50. The Cal Podcast. We're gonna make sure you get your $50. Tell Andrew he just helped you make
Thanks,
$50.
I'm playing Truth and Dare.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'll take.
Such a good person.
You're such a good person. Yes,
Like
you are.
literally, Andrew, you're now my new friend.
Bye, Andrew. And he
Andrew
will
didn't
send it too. That's the wild.
Andrew didn't hesitate. Andrew like, what's up? Oh, sure. What's your cash out?
He's the sweetest guy ever.
I need more Andrews in my life.
Yeah, that's my homeboy.
Okay, well, you're the first. Well, Miss First. Well, you're the first. Everybody else has failed miserably.
Yeah.
But back to what you were saying.
Mm-hmm. I forgot. ADHD.
Oh, with males being raped.
Yeah. That was a way to drop it. But yes, yes, there are male survivors. And they typically don't disclose for reasons that we can kind of, it's understandable and I can't imagine. There are male survivors who call JSO out, and JSO does not treat them very nice. And I believe it's also just miseducation. I think it's also ignorance from everybody, not just law enforcement. I can tell you right now, if you walk into a locker room and start asking guys what they think about domestic violence and, men being victims or survivors, I'm sure half of them would laugh or make a joke. And so, but and women too, like there are women who also don't see men as survivors, and that's not okay. So I think we have to make sure we change that because we know crazy women out here and we laugh and joke because she slashed his tires. Or we laugh and joke and make it normal because she slapped him or she, threw grits on him. That's not funny. You know what I'm saying? Like that's assault. That's attempted murder.
But
And women typically do things that are more deadly. They don't just use their fist. They're using a knife. They're using a car. They're using a weapon.
and I think the reason why, and I can say this because if she calls the police, 9 out of 10, they're gonna take her side, and it's just crazy that like stuff like that happen.
Yes.
So, is it important for men to know how to protect themselves?
I don't know if it's necessarily important for them to protect themselves, but I think safety planning is important for everybody. For me personally, I think that everyone needs to do what they need to do. I think that survivors are the experts in their situation. I've had survivors tell me that within the child welfare system, and I do trainings on this, so I talk about it often, where a survivor would let me know that if her husband would come home and he would take his boots off at the door, take his coat off at the door and sit down, it was going to be a good evening for everyone so she could continue moving like normal. But if he came in and went straight to the room and closed the door and slammed it, then she knew to get the kids to go outside until the nighttime, until the sun went down, so they could stay out of his way and she could take the brunt of that. So that was her way of safety planning for her children because he was going to be upset. And if she can get them out of the way, that'll be one less barrier that she would have to worry about, one less protective factor. And I think that folks tend to look at people and say, oh, you put your children in harm's way, when in reality, they typically are doing what they can to keep them and their children safe for the time being. If they leave and go to a shelter, right, that sounds good. But what about paying her cell phone bill? What about her car note? What about rent still got to get paid? Right. So I may leave my house, but I still got to pay rent. My landlord are going to say, okay, cool, let me rip up the lease because you left. Right. Or if I tell my landlord, hey, he beating on me, I got to go. What's going to happen? I'm going to file the eviction so I can go ahead and get my money and recoup it and get somebody else in this place because you're not about to tear up my house, right, as a landlord. So it's a myriad of different issues. I think it comes down to education, prevention, and putting money behind supporting folks because they can leave today. But tomorrow the kids got to go to school and the custodial parents still have access to getting the kids. So it's tough. Yeah. I think that to answer your question, I think that men specifically, I think that it's not so much what men need to do as survivors. I think it's what we as a system need to do to support men and male survivors. Just like I wouldn't tell a woman like, hey, you need to get out in order to stay alive. It needs to be more, yes, that needs to happen, cool. But also, what about the perpetrator who's going to chase her and try to find her and the kids for the next 5 years?
Now that I do think that's something that has to be taken care of because I cannot think of her name right now. Because she was literally running from her ex, and somehow, some way, this man will find her.
Yep.
Whether oh my God, I can't think of her name. Oh, I can't think of her name right now. And I'm looking at her face, but it's like it's like nothing was done to. Yes, she got a restraining on her, but he's still pursuing.
It's just a
And
piece of paper. So if this person doesn't, so if I know that punching someone is illegal, right? So if I don't fear the law while I punch someone, what makes you think I'm gonna fear the law because it's a piece of paper saying I can't come and talk to you? Like, you still my wife. So what you mean I can't talk to you? If I see you out in the Chili's, by the time you get to your phone to call the police, by the time they get here, by the time you say, hey, I have a piece of paper with a restraining order, and they're like, oh, okay. By the time all that happened, he gonna be done did what he gotta do. He not fearing the law. Like, like, so, or she not fearing the law. So when it come down to it, like, sometimes restraining orders, again, knowing your perpetrator is important. I knew that if I put my perpetrator on child support, then he would also have my address. I knew that if I put my perpetrator on some kind of like restraining order, then again, he would have my address to know where not to come. So why would I do that to myself? But there are survivors who do need to do that, and it is necessary, and you know your situation. But there are some survivors like myself who I knew that that was not the best option for me. The best option for me was to not let him know where I lived. Yeah, it's I think that people think like leaving is just, okay, cool, you left. All right, now you done, live your life. No, it is an everyday thing. Like, it happened back in 2022. And like, he still don't know where I live, right? But like, he wants to, we're trying to work on co-parenting, and he's now sober, and he's now in therapy, and like all these things. It does not mean that we will ever be back together, but it does mean that, okay, cool, you were working on yourself so we can co-parent effectively, because this person will be in our lives forever, whether I like it or not. He will be at the graduation one day, right? Like, he'll be at our child's wedding one day. He'll be at the birthday parties one day. And I'm going to have to see him. I want it to be a space where he is healthy so we can do this together. He is healthy so I can sit in the front row and cry about my son getting married versus being in fear of this person who may grab me while I'm in here, right? So I need him to go be healthy so he can be a good father for his child. And that was my thing. Go do what you need to do. Go be healthy. Go heal. I had to go heal too. So I didn't allow him to continue to be in our lives and disrupt and be, crazy and manic, and continue to drink and it'd be okay. He had to go work on himself, and it's still an everyday decision to continue to not drink, right? It's still an everyday decision for him to continue to not spaz out because I haven't texted him back. And he's going to have to take that initiative to work on himself. I can't do it for him.
Let me ask you this question, when you see him, does fear enter your mind, or just like nothing?
I think it's more caution, and I think it depends. So I'm in a place now where I can kind of like disassociate from that, and I can step into the space of, okay, cool, let's co-parent, let's make it happen. And I think when even just like single parents, right? Like, as single parents, we typically or even just like being in survivor mode. And I'm not talking about like from domestic violence. It could be from trauma, from poverty, from whatever. When that happens, we go into flight or fight, and you go into autopilot, or you become numb and you do what you have to do. Regardless, kind of like if you got a hangover and you got to go to work. At some point, you got to get in that car and drive to work and show up and answer that phone. So when it comes down to it, I realized that for me, like, I had to literally forgive this person early on. Like, I had to forgive this person and let that go and say, you know what? They need to go get help. I have to let that hurt go. And I had to. So when I see him now, it's not fear, because he's not going to touch me. He's not going to touch me. But I also make sure that I put things in place so I'm not in a position where he could do that. I'm not going to get in a car with him and let him drive me into an abandoned garage and have a conversation. I'm not gonna let him show me a house, which he has. Show me a house on Zillow out in the middle of nowhere, Georgia, and say, "Hey, I want to take you to go see this house with 6 acres." Why would I do that? So that kind of thing where I think you just have to put on your big girl draws and do what you got to do. Because again, this person's gonna be in our lives in some capacity for the rest of forever.
He's the Nate Cal podcast truth there. We got Miss First Lady in here. Like, yeah, I had stuff lined up to ask, maybe get you out your comfort zone, to get you relaxed, to do what you gotta do. Like, you really, really, you rock my world today with everything, and I said it. I don't know her, but I'm pretty sure she done been through something that's gonna be helpful. And here you is, really, really being helpful.
Oh, yeah. And I promise, like, I have other fun stories, not so harsh stories, whenever
No,
that time comes later on.
we'll get to them, but it just these. I think these conversations
Yeah.
are not being had,
Mhm.
and I want to get to them because it's literally, if it wasn't for that lady, dog, that man would have got her, and here I am looking at somebody who survived it. Like the stuff that you did to get from that point to where literally you have been smiling the whole
Oh,
time.
yeah. It's important. And I'm happy to
Like
be here.
we need that. How can like that lady been through what's her name first Lada whatever she been through domestic violence and now look at her like what did she do? How did she move? How did she get to that? I want to know because I want to be like that one day. I want to be where I'm in a position to help other people get out of the position that I currently was in.
Yeah.
So these conversations, like, don't get me wrong, we have enough talk about sex and all that other stuff. These are the conversations that I be looking forward to because
Yeah.
it's going to help. First, lady, I'm telling you right now, you're going to help somebody who don't even know you. You don't know them, but they're going to live a better life after watching this.
Awesome.
And that's why I keep saying God got his hand on this podcast because of conversations like this. I wasn't expecting this today.
Yay. Okay, cool.
So I do appreciate it. Now, we do have our Cal podcast question. Some of the questions going to be one or the other. Some of the questions will be fill in the blank. But if you try to play us and don't give us an answer, we will be on this bitch all night until we get an answer. Now, are you ready? First question, love or money?
It depends on the time that you ask me.
Love or money?
Love.
Financial literacy or health literacy?
Oh, health literacy.
All right, this one you can pick 2 out of 3, or you can pick 1 out of 3, but you can't pick all 3.
Okay.
T-shirt and panties, lingerie, or nothing at all.
Moo nightgown, big t-shirt, like y'all don't onesie, like the like footy pajamas. Y'all have
I'm,
those? Like
I'm talking about when you with that certain somebody.
I
Now, Mumu, I'm gonna throw in there because I've been seeing a
love me a
lot.
moo.
Oh man,
Did your like my grandma had 5, 6 kids?
No, not them type of muumuus. I'm talking about the current muumuus I've been seeing on Instagram.
No,
Those
I want the one from the challenge when it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like looking up at the ceiling, like they had the moo on. You
I
know?
didn't see that. I didn't see that
You
channel.
didn't see, okay, I'll send you that challenge. I'll send
Send me
you.
that channel.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right. First lady, what brings you peace?
Aw, God, His word, and also a sunset, a good sunset. I will collect sunsets all day. Like if you want to know the way to my heart, take me to see a sunset.
Take you to see a sunset. Okay. Oh, I'm looking at my card right here. What is something in your life that you tried to change but end up accepting it for what it is?
Oh, child, my diet. Like I'm a big girl. Like I'm a big girl, and I really like one day, you know. but just not today. Like, I don't wanna, you know?
BBA,
Hmm?
big back action.
I mean, I ain't gonna say big back, but you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm a big girl. It's big everywhere. You know, like it's just you seeing, you seeing it's a lot of knees.
It is. It is. Okay. But it still don't give you an excuse. Okay. All right. Which sex scene describe your current sex life?
Let me see. 40-year-old virgin. Does that count?
That's the scene you want to choose.
I mean, that's the whole movie. Like the
I mean, that's the movie you want to choose. Look, I ain't stopping.
and listen. I mean, what else? Like, what's that new movie when they out in the desert and the tumbleweeds rolling through? I don't know. Any Western, any
Castaway.
of them out there by yourself,
Let's
like,
let's just keep it moving.
okay.
First lady, what do black women need to hear from black men?
Hmm. That we got you. We got you.
First lady, if you could go back to your very first time, panties coming off, what advice would you tell yourself in that situation right then, right there? What would
Girl,
you tell
get up.
yourself?
Girl, get up. Now, he was very nice. Like he was so sweet. So like I appreciate thank you. Thank you, young man. Um, he was cool. Like he still going to the state. And I'm grateful. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a good it was what it was. Any first time is like, ugh. But yeah,
Girl, get up. That was
girl,
her
get
answer.
up. For what? It was a waste. But I mean, he was nice. I
It was
appreciated
a
that,
waste, but
he
it
was
was
cool.
nice. Oh, it was cool.
Not him.
Okay.
You were not a waste if you see this. You were not a waste, sir. King. But child, I gotta went to work.
Okay. First lady, what is one of your biggest insecurities about yourself?
Mm. Um, Maybe my focus. Like if I was more focused, I think I would be a lot further. Um, Professionally, in my personal life, maybe discipline. Um, I think that is an insecurity because I lack it. Um, yeah, maybe that.
First lady, if I had a check for $10 million, what would you risk doing? Now, when I say risk, is whatever you got in
Yeah.
your head. Don't let
Like the
me.
biggest risk I would take.
What would you do if I had a check for $10 million? What would you do? What was somebody or something materialistic? What would you do?
A lot. A
You got
lot.
you got to point us in the right direction. I know it's a lot, but I would
Like,
do.
I don't think I could like kill anyone with my hands. Um, I'm pretty sure I could do a couple things. Um, I think I could maybe like step on like a rabbit or something. I don't know. Like I couldn't wrestle a gator. Probably couldn't outrun a gator either, but don't make that face.
Okay, all right, all
I
right,
don't know.
okay. All right. First lady, I'm thinking of a number between 11 and 30. I am thinking of a number. No, excuse me, not me. I want you to give me a number between the number 11 and 30. Any number between 11 and 30.
18.
18, is your body count higher or lower?
Lower. I'm
First
like,
lady, what is your superpower? What is the one thing that you do better than anybody in the world?
I'm super nice. Like I am the nicest person I know. And I can become friends with anybody. Like,
Yes.
yeah, my friends be mad at me. They be like, girl, come on, let's leave. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Like I met the janitor on the way out. So
First lady, when was the last time you had a good cry?
maybe 2 weeks ago. Anxiety. And so sometimes you just need a good cry. And I love a good cry. I'll put on a movie, watch The Notebook, and I will boohoo on purpose.
I literally don't get the Notebook.
You don't get it? Are you married? Do you have a girlfriend? You got a bae though.
Yeah,
You
we can
have a
say.
bae that you could watch a movie with.
Oh yeah.
Okay, one that you like though. Like you gotta like
Oh
her.
yeah.
Watch it with her.
Okay.
And then let her like, make googly eyes at you.
Okay. All right, Miss First Lady, we in election year. Can you name the 3 branches of government?
Legislative, executive. Oh, I messed up the last one. Consecutive. That's not it.
Legislative, you said that. You
I
said
know.
executive, and the other one is
Senate branch is not it. Legislative, executive, and
last try.
give me a letter.
I can't do that.
Yes, you can.
No, if I give you a letter, you would guess it all
I
the
can
time.
buy a vowel.
Nah, I can't do that.
Okay.
Legislative,
Do
executive.
look at me and you'll tell me what it is. You ain't saying it. That's why I can't get it. Executive, legislative,
You said
and
it.
give me a second. Give me a second. Legislative, executive. Give me a second. Stop rushing me.
I'm not. I'm just trying to
I
push it
feel
over
it.
your
I
head.
feel it. You're thinking it. I don't know.
Judicial.
I know. No, I didn't know that. Supreme Court and them. Duh, Denise. Oops, that's not my name. Psych.
Come on now. All right. Last 2 questions. Let me see if I go. I had it. Dang, what I had it. I can't find it. Oh, here it is. How can somebody tell the difference when a woman is being assertive and when she's just being aggressive?
I guess it depends on who's asking. Like,
I'm asking for all the people who's going to work with a Black woman in the United States of America. Because they say when a woman is being assertive, oh, she aggressive, but she really just letting you know, like, hey, we need to get this done, or this is what need to be done, or this is what I can do when it's time, crunch time.
yeah. I get that completely. So like, I'm not gonna lie. I've had some terrible supervisors, Black women, who made my job hell. But at the same time, there was also a certain level of camaraderie there too. And it was really beautiful where I knew that they understood without me saying it, and things that were nonverbals were also understood and received. So I think there's something to it. I think that there's a way to do it. I think that we have to stop looking at every single thing that a Black woman does as an attitude. I also think that we have to understand that there are women who are literally walking around with their like uterus falling out. So like, and it is difficult. And that's what they're going through in that moment, but they still have to come in here and pretend to be like the board president, like it's tough. So with that, I think just understanding that if a white man can come in here and tell you what to do and cuss you out and then go back to his office and close the door and you get back to work. If a Black woman says, hey, get it done and walks away, don't get an attitude because she's Black. And I think that people tend to look at Black women like, how dare you? And they tend to, because she happened to move her head a little bit more than John did, that she now has an attitude or she's being aggressive versus assertive. Look at it in a lens of if a white, straight male did this, how would I feel? And if the answer is, I would be offended, okay, cool. But if the answer is, I would take it and I would do my job, then self-check.
And then the last question is the Cow Podcast question. We ask everybody this question. And I know for a fact, if you haven't done it, we're going to do it together.
Okay.
Who has the better pancakes, Whataburger or Cracker Barrel?
That's a terrible, I don't like that question. Why are we asking that question?
Because this is our question.
Whataburger or Cracker Barrel? I mean, I guess Cracker Barrel. Because they got but I mean, I ain't never had Whataburger pancakes.
I know. And see, I knew you was gonna say that, but hold on, let me say this for the record: it's 4-1 people who chose Cracker Barrel over Whataburger, but most people didn't know Whataburger had pancakes.
They knew they had them because they didn't been through the line where they see they got pancakes. They just never have had them. They never had them. I'm gonna go
Well,
taste them tomorrow, and I'm gonna let you know.
please do, please do, please do. Especially if you go to the one,
West Side.
yeah, Westside, Normandy, good. To me, I because I work off JTB, so I be going not the one on Phillip Highway.
I used to live over
I
there.
It's one. They just built a new one off of South Side. What is that? South Side and
They got one on
they
San Jose now too.
where?
Way down there by the highway, by 295.
I gotta check it out.
Yep.
South Side and Bay Meadows, and then it's another one off of what is that? 295 and no, that's it. 295 in San Jose. I've been to that one.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
now their pancakes always hit.
Really? They still new though, so I gotta go try them out.
Yeah,
I'm
make
gonna
sure you
let you
get
know.
2 serves because you're gonna need them.
They be killing
You're
me.
gonna
Like,
need
why
them.
you give me one? But
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Okay. Now this is the last truth and dare.
Okay.
Truth. Um, truth. What is something when you look in the mirror, who do you see?
Oh, that was really sweet. A bad bitch. I'm just playing. Uh, I see a survivor. I see resilience. I see peace. And I see so much potential. And I'm really excited about what that looks like. Um, I see someone who is kind, someone who has learned to show herself grace, and be gentle with herself, and to realize that you can't pour from an empty cup, and it's okay not to be okay. Um, that, um, yeah, I see an amazing individual who is learning, and I'm excited about it.
And the last dare is what dare you will want somebody to give you to get you where you need to be.
What do you mean? Like professionally or like in life or just like,
Whatever you want to be, life, general, financial, motherhood, what dare would you want to hear that will make you get to that level?
mm, that was good, friend. Okay.
Cat
Um,
podcast.
that was good. All
Cat
right.
podcast. Tell your friends.
I like that. Okay, that's gonna be the question. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna tag y'all. Okay. Um, oh, First Lady, I dare you to go for it all without fear, without caution, without hesitation. Go for every single piece of it and leave no crumbs, baby girl.
First lady, this is part of the show where we give you the floor where you can say what you want to say, promote what you want to promote, whatever you want to do. The floor is yours.
I am so excited to be here. I'm really grateful for this platform and that y'all allowed me to come on and just chat, and just talk. But I just want to say that if you were going through anything, if you think that you are by yourself, you are not. You have not even met everyone who's going to love you yet. So don't stop going. Just stay one more day with us here on this earth. And if you're struggling, reach out to somebody. We much rather have you in our inbox, in our DMs, on our phone than showing up to your funeral tomorrow. So let us know that you need us, and we are here. You are not by yourself. I have nothing to promote except for love, and thank you so much.
And you said I'm uninterested in boring, and we
Don't stop.
literally just got close about an hour, maybe 10 minutes of information that I'm telling you, Miss First Lady, it's going to help somebody who don't know, don't care, as long as they live in a better life after seeing this. So I told you. Once we get you on, I said if I just get you on, I'll do my part.
You
I
did
got
it.
you. I got you on, and then you did the most.
Aw.
And I was like, yo, because when you said it, I'm like, whatever. Like, I had my questions ready to hit you just in case it's a dead point. There
Yeah,
was no point for this today.
that's funny.
This is for another episode. Tonight was literally it like I keep saying this. God got his hand on this podcast because we needed an episode like this. So, first lady, young lady, thank you. First of all, um, congratulations to being a survivor.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
for doing better. Congratulations to get yourself out of that situation to working, and now you're either helping people to you're helping more women to become more survivors. So congratulations to you and everything that you have accomplished up to now. And I know the sky's the limit, and you're not gonna stop. But really, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, thank you for getting on because you didn't have to do this.
Oh, thank you.
Like, I really do appreciate it. And just know whenever you need us and you want to get back on and talk about whatever, I'm just a DM away and we can make that happen.
Awesome. Thank you. Y'all are amazing.
So, Cal Podcast now, season 8. Oh, by the way, technically we're in the whole negative $48 because somebody finally did the 50. But I'm cool with that because somebody actually did it. Shout out to Andrew. I was gonna edit your name out, but Andrew, my guy, you are a diamond in the rough.
Absolutely.
So season 8 Cal Podcast, Truth or Dare, we got this first lady on. Why do you call her first lady? If you want to find out more about her or get out of fellas, slide in her DM. We're not gonna help you. We're not gonna help you. But once again, Boo, thank you so much for getting on. Quita and Perk had something going on. They couldn't make it tonight, so I held it down. And like I always say, we're gonna get better and do better. And y'all have a good night. Don't get off yet, Miss First Lady.
Okay.
G14 classified. That's good.
Headline, Starlight.
DJ Star.